welcome to this edition of Cooking with Coastline. It's really cold outside. I'm in the mood for something that's really comforting and hearty. So we're gonna be making a vegetarian chili today. And don't worry, beef lovers, not to worry. I can tell you that there's so many really good, tasty flavors in here that you're not even gonna miss the ground beef at all. I'm telling you, so good.
And today I'm going to be making a healthy, gluten-free and flourless cornbread. So I'm really excited for that.
Very good. Yes. Okay. So I have in our pan over here, I have about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay. All right. Gonna put that on medium heat here. Okay. So just gonna let that cook for just a minute. Yeah, Jess, if you could help me, that would be great. Okay. So if you can give me the onions.
There you go.
All right. Okay, so I have about 1 whole sweet onion in here. Okay. And about 2 or 3 things of celery. Okay. And about 4 carrots here. We chopped off all nice. Okay, very good. So we're just gonna let this cook for a couple of minutes. So that way that the vegetables, they can get a little soft. Okay, just gonna turn the heat on just a little bit higher. So that way everybody can start cooking. But yeah, no, the weather's starting to get cold. I know that everybody's thinking about soup now because, oh, it's just the most comforting thing. You know, who doesn't want a bowl of good soup and grilled cheese on a really cold day, right? And I know in my house, chili's always a favorite.
Oh yes, chili's always a favorite.
Chili's always a favorite. And what goes better with chili than cornbread, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
I'm really excited to try
mixture.
this chili because I've never had it without any sort of like either turkey meat or hamburger meat. So I'm really excited to try this one with the lentils.
I know. My husband, I always try out the recipes beforehand, and my husband was really concerned that there wasn't going to be meat in there. And he said, wow, that chili was so good. I'm like, yes, yes. One win for nutrition, right? Okay. All right, so we're still waiting on this to cook for a little bit. Okay, so this is looking good. Our onions are looking a little translucent. So if you can give me about a teaspoon of garlic, Jess. You can do fresh garlic if you want.
I'll just add it in for you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. That's good.
Oh, there you go.
I know. I love garlic.
Oh, it
to me, you can't.
So good.
You just can't go wrong with adding a little bit of extra garlic, in my opinion. But you don't want to overcook the garlic. You want to just saute it a little bit, maybe for about a minute or so, and then we can start adding the rest of the ingredients. So our big star today is actually lentils. Now lentils are part of the legume family, and they are so delicious, so inexpensive. They're really high in folic acid. Jess, could you get me I need 5 cups of broth.
Okay, so that's...
Yep, so there's 4 cups in here. So we chose a low sodium, low fat vegetable broth. So see, it's vegetarian friendly if you have any friends who are vegetarians. So there you go. And you need about 5 cups. There we go. You just need about 1 more cup. Yep.
Go.
Okay, and so now we're gonna add the lentils in.
I'm really excited to try it. I've never had lentils before, so I'm really excited.
Good, so good. Yeah, so we're doing about 2 cups of lentils. So what you want to do beforehand is you want to make sure that you rinse them really well.
Yes.
So if you have one of those mesh strainers, you can use that. And because sometimes there can be rocks, there can be dirt, things like that. So it's good to sort it through. And the great thing about lentils too is that you don't have to soak them overnight. You know, like other members of the bee family, this is actually really, really simple. And if you didn't want to cook them in the stew like this, you could cook them separately if you wanted. But me personally, I kind of like a one-pot wonder where you just throw everything on in. Super easy. Okay, so we're gonna let this cook for about 30 minutes. You want it to get to a simmer. So I'm gonna wait for this to boil. So if you wanna get started on yours, Jess.
All right, so what better to go with chili than a nice cornbread? So cornbread can be, especially if you get the pre-boxed kind, there's a lot of preservatives and a lot of not so good ingredients. So we're gonna be making today a pretty simple and really healthy version of cornbread that's also flourless and gluten-free for all you gluten-free people out there. So what I'm gonna start off by doing is I'm going to be mixing a cup of milk along with a little bit of vinegar to kind of make a buttermilk-like substance. If you have buttermilk, that's great. If not, you can kind of just put the milk and the vinegar together and set that aside, and I've added 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. So we're gonna let that start to react a little bit, and now I'm gonna add my dry ingredients. So all of these ingredients basically you would have at your home, except for maybe the cornmeal and maybe corn, but a lot of people have corn anyway. So I'm gonna be adding in 2 cups of cornmeal, and then I'm going to be adding some baking soda, a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Whoops, I'm sorry, that was baking powder. 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and then a half teaspoon of baking soda. And then I'm going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of salt. There we go. And then I'm going to be adding in 6 tablespoons of sugar. So I'm going to mix this all well together. So simple, such a simple dish.
So it'll be a little sweet, a little savory.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
So you can probably cut back on the sugar a little bit if you wanted, or maybe a little bit. You know, I'm thinking for people who are diabetic, they could do like a sugar substitute or something like that.
And a lot, actually, when I was doing research about cornbread, a lot of like the actual Southern style cornbread, actually they omit a lot of the added extra sugar because it's not supposed to be so sweet because you already have a lot of the sweetness in the corn. So it's basically to taste. If you like a little extra sugar, then add it in. And like you said, use a substitute if you can't use the regular sugar. So I have
All
this
depends
mixture.
on your preference.
Right. So now I'm going to be taking my buttermilk-like substance here, and I'm going to be adding in my corn, which I used 1 can. If you like, you can kind of mash up the corn, kind of pulverize it a little bit, but we just left our kernels whole for this. And then I'm adding in 1/4 cup of applesauce. And then a little bit of vegetable oil.
You know, I'm wondering, I know that there are a lot of people out there, Jess, who do like frozen vegetables, frozen corn. You think they could do frozen corn in this recipe?
Yeah, I wouldn't see why not. Yeah, we use the canned corn, but I don't see how it would make much of a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have, people always have corn and other vegetables in their freezer, so you're more likely to have, I would think, a frozen vegetable than maybe a canned vegetable. So.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to mix this all together here.
And you know what I like about this recipe too is that it actually has corn in it. You know, like if you were to buy some of those corn muffin packages, you know, they don't. At least you're getting a little bit more of a nutritional punch by adding, you know, some vegetables in there.
Right, and this recipe is, like I said, gluten-free. It can make it vegan as well if you wanted to use almond milk instead of using regular milk. So it's a really healthy recipe, and it's all using all real ingredients.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Or people who may have a milk allergy, if you did like a soy or an almond, yeah, no, that would work for them too.
So what I've done now is I've added my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, and then you're going to mix this really well. And you're going to start to see a little bit of more of like the chemical reaction of all the acid from the buttermilk and then the baking soda and the baking powder. So it's going to kind of puff up a little bit. So I'm just going to mix this really well here. And if you want to spray this pan for me, that'd be great.
Thank you.
So I've already preheated my oven here to 420 degrees, and we're going to cook this for about 25 minutes, and then we're going to let it sit and cool for about 15 minutes. And we've used 8x8 pan, but you can, depending on how thick you want it, you can do a flatter, longer pan, like more rectangular, or if you want to do a square pan like this, you can do that too.
Yep.
So.
You know, and we're making a really big pot of chili here. So if you wanted, you could easily cut this recipe in half, or you could freeze it. So if you made this corn recipe, you could probably cut that in half, bake it, freeze it. You could cut this in half and freeze it. So that would all work out together really well. So this is starting to steam, so I'm just gonna cover it here.
Yeah, so this recipe actually, it's 100, they separated it by about 16 servings in this recipe. So, and per square was about 100 calories, really low in fat, really low in cholesterol. So it's a really good, healthy alternative, like I said, than getting those pre-boxed mixes.
Very good.
So here we go. So I'm just gonna throw this in the oven. Like I said, it's 420 degrees for 25 minutes.
Okay, so our lentils are looking good over here. It's been about 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna start adding in some more of our ingredients. So I have about 4 tablespoons of chili powder. We've got some allspice, some paprika, and some cumin.
I'm going to start cutting up the avocado for the topping of the chili.
Oh, it smells so good. You know, and at home too, I like to make my own taco seasoning because a lot of those taco seasoning packets, you know, they're loaded in sodium, you know, and when I first tried it, I was a little bit intimidated, you know, to make my own seasoning, but really that's basically all it is some chili powder, some cumin, you know, basic spices. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding in 2 cans of black beans. Okay, give that a stir. This is a really nice hearty chili.
Smells really good.
Yeah, smells so good. And make sure too that before you put your black beans in, you want to make sure that you rinse them also. Okay, so some corn. Okay. And we also have some roasted red peppers. If you're really adventurous, you could do your own roasted red pepper. Or you can buy them canned also. Okay.
So colorful too.
It is so colorful, I know. And I just need the tomato sauce, Jess, if you wouldn't mind.
Here, I'll pour it in for you because my hands are all.
Oh, okay.
The whole thing. There you go.
Okay. See, how easy was that? I mean, basically, the most difficult thing is just the prep work, right?
Do you need a bay leaf?
Actually, a bay leaf would be really good. Thank you.
Just throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then honey?
And yeah, 1 tablespoon of honey would be great.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of that sweet and that savory. So good. Okay. It's lovely. Thank you. And another reason why I like this chili too is that it's not that spicy. You know, it doesn't have jalapenos or Tabasco sauce. I mean, you certainly can add those things in there if you wish. But, you know, I like it because it's very family friendly. Okay, so now that all the ingredients are together, we're going to let it simmer for about another 20 minutes, and then presto, it's done.
All right. All right, so now we've let the cornbread cool, and we've cut it up and put it on display here.
It looks great.
It does look great. Just a reminder that true Southern cornbread is a little bit more on the crumbly side, so that's why you kind of see a little bit of crumbles here, but it looks delicious.
Yep, and our chili's been simmering for about another 20 minutes. Looks so good. Look at how colorful it is. It looks so, so great. So now, so this is totally your preference, whatever you like to do, but me personally on my chili, I like to add a little bit of extra calcium in there. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of some cheese, okay, and then I'm going to add some avocado in there. You could add cilantro, you could add lime, whatever you like.
Delicious.
It does, it looks so good. And then just a dollop of sour cream.
Looks
Beautiful,
delicious.
Beautiful.
What a great meal. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to go like Coastline's Nutritional Program Facebook page, where we'll be posting all of our past episodes along with our current episodes and our Meals on Wheels menus, along with some cool nutritional fun facts. See you next time.
Stay warm, everybody.